The 2026 general elections are now behind us, but debate continues over the significant number of Ugandans who did not vote. From presidential and parliamentary contests to local government and special interest group elections, the entire process was conducted under the legal framework managed by the Electoral Commission. The Commission's national register showed 21.6 million eligible voters, yet the final turnout stood at roughly 11 million. That means nearly half of registered voters did not participate. Observers and election analysts are still searching for answers. Some link the low turnout to enforcement challenges around the 20-meter campaign-free zone at polling stations. Others say delayed opening of polling centers frustrated voters who had arrived early, prompting many to leave before voting.
So people who are not part of that circus fear to actually turn up on election day to vote. They decided to stay home because they thought that election day or polling day was going to be violence. There was going to be violence on polling day. So some of them stayed at home. A simple analysis at different polling stations where I visited, and you could see that out of the 600 registered voters at certain polling stations, only 200 had turned out to vote.
The machines were unable to kick in, the biometric voter verification machines. By 9 o'clock, the time when the Electoral Commission came out to announce that now the country should go manual where the machines have failed to work, some of the people had begun walking away. And I can tell you with certainty, those who walked away did not return. So those were voters lost, contributing to a lower voter turnout.
The Commission, however, points to another category, the thousands of officials and security personnel deployed to manage the election, but unable to vote where they were assigned.
Polling stations, 50,739 polling stations, where we deployed almost seven workers, and all of them are working on that day. That one already, when you multiply 50,000 times 7, you already have 350,000 persons who are doing election administration on polling day, and they are not available to vote. Now add on the supervisors at parish level.
Civil society groups argue that the law does not provide an alternative for citizens who are on official duty on polling day, forcing them to choose between national service and exercising their democratic right.
That we have the journalists, we have security, we have observers. All those are registered voters. Most of them are registered voters because they're 18 and above. But because there is no provision for Uganda to have first time those people who will be on duty to vote before polling, you will find that you will not see the journalists. Most of them will not vote. The security will be deployed at different polling stations and not at their polling station where they vote from. So a good number of them do not vote.
This is a generation that is very highly mobile in the context of elections, in the context of urbanization. Between the age of 18 and 30, in Uganda, for instance, these are people that ride borders. These are people who run chapati stalls, the majority of them. These are young people who are employed in saloons. These are people who are employed in the transport sector. So, come the election day, these are not regularly available in places where they registered to cast their vote.
The call now is for reforms that would introduce early voting or special arrangements for such workers.
There are candidates agents who are deployed in different parts of the country across. And all these are some of... I know that because on polling day they are required to be on duty in different places far from where they are registered from. The media, the journalists, whom we had the whole day, and they couldn't go to their places for voting. So I think there could be areas we need to look at, like and provide, for example, for early voting, it would also increase the number of people who turn up for election, especially those who will not be available on that day and can just.
According to Crispin Kaheru, voter disengagement also stems from limited civic education and dissatisfaction with the candidates on offer.
Come 2016, this was the first time Uganda was extracting the National Voters Register from the NIRA database. We had two very strong, comprehensive nationwide campaigns. One, the votability campaign that mobilized Ugandans to get registered onto the NIRA database, but also ensure that they are on the Electoral Commission National Voters Register. Subsequently, we also had the TOPOA campaign, nationwide, comprehensive, very strong, on ground, covering the young people and everybody. 2021. Did we have such a voter mobilization campaign? No. Come 2026, did we have a robust nationwide voter mobilization effort? Not as much. So, if we do not have tailored voter mobilization campaigns to rally Ugandans to get the vote out, certainly we're going to see the numbers reducing after each election. So,
cannot say that Ugandans do not know that today is a polling day. So in terms of awareness about polling, Ugandans are aware and they were aware.
Interim observer reports further cited technical setbacks, particularly the failure of some biometric voter verification machines during the presidential and parliamentary polls. Although officials later reverted to manual registers, the disruption is believed to have discouraged a section of voters.
During the presidential and parliamentary elections, what was the problem? That those that were meant to operate the machines had not received the credentials they were supposed to input. So, it was a logistical operational problem rather than a technical failure of the machines.
The returning officers who was in charge of one of the districts, I'm not going to mention, he said the machines were delivered late and there was something new, that there was a new feature that was installed in the machines for them to be able to utilize that feature. And that feature disorganized the whole system.
The Commission says a form evaluation will establish what went wrong and guide future improvements.
Included the elections, and we are doing the necessary reports and the necessary inquiries into how we conducted the election generally, the use of technology, our logistics, how we moved around things, the deliveries, the dispatches, the retrievals, and including the use of technology. And that, of course, includes biometric voter verification. So a comprehensive report will be issued to look at what happened on the 15th. But
the biometric system was introduced to curb electoral malpractice, including multiple voting, impersonation, and the use of forged voter slips.
They greatly helped where they worked. Greatly worked. They greatly helped. In fact, give and take, in the subsequent elections, it should indeed be mandatory. And we should not listen to any excuse of, we have delayed to send the credentials, we are certain. No, they should work. That is the only way you're going to read the system of ballot stuffing, multiple voting.
By the machine, a voter has a voter location slip which is recognized by the machine, but the machine does not recognize her facial or thumbprint. So what the presiding officers were doing at some polling stations, they were allowing this person to go and cast the votes. But these ballot papers could not be scanned in the machine because this person has not been recognized by the machine. But the person has been given the ballot papers to proceed to vote. At the end of the day, when they were counting, these ballot papers were not counted.
I'm Nafka Farida, reporting in Kampala.